My name is Xyla Foxlin. I am an engineer by degree with a minor in studio art, and I think that kind of describes my content pretty well. I do a blend of engineering, woodworking, design stuff. I like fire. I live near the Mojave Desert, which means I can legally blow things up all the time. Sorry, I didn't mean to flex on the UK folks, but yeah.
Hello, I'm Ali Spagnola, and I'm a Xyla Foxlin fan. I'm just here to listen.
Oh, I'm not an Ali Spagnola fan.
I make outrageous art, so big, experiential, large-scale, goofy things, and mostly learn a lot from this one.
Oh, I learn a lot from this one, too, so wait, can I help you real
What's
quick?
wrong?
Your hair is...
Thank you. Everyone delete any photo you took before.
All right, take them again, take them again.
Okay.
Okay, so this is your moment, guys. This is your moment to ask all the questions you've always wanted to ask. I'm going to come around and let you do so. So if you want to throw your hands up, let me... Thank you. I always like it when it's really close early doors.
So, Ali, we watched you do your keyboard with your personal massagers.
Indeed.
So, did you do a process of finding that particular massager? Or did you have a process of testing different ones?
Can I have the discards?
Leftovers. The company offered me a bunch of different models, and I went with the one that really said personal massager. You know what I mean? And I was going also, size doesn't matter, but I went for the biggest one.
Let's go here.
Sorry to get a bit heavy at the start. I work at a museum, and I got told off for promoting women in science and engineering and giving a list of all the great ones in history, saying we don't need to do that, the problem's solved. That was from a 70-year-old woman. I think she speaks bullshit. Do you think we do need to help women in science and engineering? If so, what help would you have liked when you started out?
Yes. So, okay, I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of women in, sorry, I took this one.
That's yours.
With a lot of women in STEM through a lot of generations, and I think it is important to remember that, like, in every era, these women faced a different kind of trauma from being so alone in their field. And so a lot of times you can look at how different things are now and not realize that some of the problems are exactly the same as they were. And it is certainly getting better, but it was really bad probably when she was in school, and then it actually got better for a little bit, and then it got bad again. But it was easy to see all of that change, and so I think I always try to remind myself in those situations to have empathy, because like these people have stories that I can only imagine. But also a lot of times I'll share some of the stories that I have of working at an airport when I was 16, like working on airplanes, and that's a really toxic place for young women. And even going to engineering school in the Midwest in Ohio. There's a lot of really cool stuff. Something that like I think about a lot now in the job that I have is how important women's representation in media is. And there was a study that was done in, I want to say the late 90s, but I'm not a TV person, so where like over 70% of women who pursued higher degrees in computer science cited Dr. Dana Scully from the X-Files as the reason that they did it. And the generation after that was pretty much like Bones. And now there are like increasing numbers of women that are flying fighter jets, or women that are the hackers in media. And so I think that we're going to see a huge improvement in like 15 years when like this generation grows up. But it's so important to keep creating spaces where women are welcome.
Yeah, that.
Okay, next question. I'm going back here.
Sorry, that was a very rambling answer. I apologize.
Hand was already up. Let's go.
Ali, what are your next plans for your car?
Funny, you should ask. So I had plans, and just getting my car cleaned ended up being a whole week of chaos. So it's a video of me cleaning my car. Please watch it. I know that's a terrible thumbnail, but it's really funny.
Guys, her car is street parked
Oh, yeah.
And it just looks, it's like this adorable neighborhood. And then there's Ali Spagnola's like pop socket covered car.
Just inviting people to fidget.
Okay, we've got a question up here. Hand was up.
Why do you want to make these wacky things in the first place?
So that I can share them with you. That really is why I'm compelled to say, look what I did. And I feel so lucky that I can do that on the internet and that you and all of you watch. So thank you.
Is it the same for you?
Actually, I feel like sometimes, but sometimes it's also because I want to know if something will work. And I am fortunate enough to have a job where experimentation and learning is kind of my job, as long as I document it well and share it with you guys. So some of it is because I want to make people happy, and some of it is because I get a brain worm, and I can't get rid of the brain worm until I try it.
Incredible. Next question. Oh, your hand's up already. You're beating the system. Here we go.
How many injuries have you had?
Oh, dear.
You want to go?
Well, we can just look at my YouTube history, and however many videos I've made is how many injuries I've had. It's too many. What you need to learn from this is don't be like me. I am not a tutorial. You should be careful and wear safety glasses and listen to OSHA.
What's OSHA?
Yeah.
I think I get injured a lot less than Ali. I wear a lot of safety equipment, but I will say one that we don't talk about as much is like the biggest injury I constantly have is like tendonitis and repetitive strain injuries from using large tools all the time that I'm not quite strong enough or big enough for. So like take care of your bodies. It's really helpful because physical therapy is expensive. Oh, you guys have the NHS. Never mind.
And check out my fitness channel, too, if you want some insights on that.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Who's got a question? Oh, why is it always the furthest ones away when you stand at the back?
Fitness channel, go.
I know.
Great, so kind of two-part question. Do you consider yourself a success, and when did you or will you consider yourself a success otherwise?
Oh, my. I'm glad we're sitting
Brutal.
down.
Brutal.
You
Go
first.
ahead.
Yes and no. It feels like I'm doing exactly what I was put on this earth to do, and I'm so freaking grateful, but the human brain always wants more, and I want to go bigger and better and cooler things and more production and more art. And so, yeah, it's a combination of being thrilled that I've made it and thrilled that there's more to make.
Yeah, same. No, I think success is such a relative term, and for like if you had asked me 5 years ago, it like pointed to where I'm at now and said, "Is she successful?" I would have been like, "Yeah." But now, I look at where I am and I point at everyone else who's doing amazing things, and it's the thing is like also the further you get in your career, the more friends you make, like Ali, who are just crushing it. And so it's so hard not to compare yourself all the time. But I think when I started to feel like successful was when I stopped having to think about money so much. Like there was definitely a turning point where I went from worrying every month how I was going to pay rent, like if YouTube was going to work, like if I needed to try to find a real job in the middle of COVID as basically an entertainment roboticist, which like all of the theme parks were shut down, so that was pretty hard. Yeah.
This question's for Ali. With your videos, there don't seem to be a lot of planning before you do them.
What?
So I was just wondering, how much do you actually plan your builds before you start?
I generally will make a very science drawing, which is like a sketch with my left hand, and then go for it. I don't know. And then call Xyla when I'm panicking in the middle. There is more planning than it seems, but it doesn't matter because I'll plan and then it won't work. And so then it'll have to shift in the middle anyway.
Where are we going?
What a great question. I'm going to bring that one home.
Where's I going? Here. Yes, sir.
Hi, this is for Ali. How do you manage all the, you have 2 different channels, plus you do the projects and the music. That's a lot of, and I guess the question is for both of you, how do you fight burnout?
Your answer was so great yesterday.
Oh, I can give entire talks on fighting burnout, but that doesn't really answer the question. You should take it.
Yeah, I think it's because I am doing what I love, and I've been lucky enough to not hit burnout. I work myself to the bone, but somehow I wake up and I'm still stoked to do it again. And so I guess I'm really bad at giving advice on this because I am so compelled to make things that I haven't hit any sort of wall.
Allie is wildly organized. I'm going to answer this on behalf of you because
this is counter to my brand.
I have watched you take meeting after meeting from like in a row, being super organized about the way you do stuff. And also, like, Allie is very good at, like, building a team and having people in the team do their job, like, a very specific job. Do you think that's fair?
I don't think I'm
you were
good
selling
at it.
yourself short.
I'm still learning to manage people, but I feel like if I can bring more people on my team, I can make bigger and better things. I would like to know if my teammates say that.
I can't answer on behalf of your teammates. I'll take the burnout side of that, though, because I burn out a lot. I go really hard, like I obsess over a project and then I'll obsess over like, I can usually do a year of going really hard and then I burn out really hard. And my solution has always been to pick up a new hobby that I know I'm gonna be good at. But I have just never like had the opportunity to try because burnout really comes from when you're working really hard and you're not feeling like you're making a lot of progress. And so if you pick a hobby where you can put in a normal amount of effort, not like minimum effort, but not like crazy amounts of effort and see yourself make progress, then I find that really helpful.
Incredible. Oh, let's go to you. Strong hand.
This is for both of you. What project are you most proud of?
A project?
Yeah.
The next one. It really is that I'm always looking to the future. I think I'm too future focused. It's probably unbalanced. But I'm always like, what's the next thing I can make? And that's a part of not being burned out is that I'm so excited for the next thing. As soon as I finish something, it's like, let's keep going.
That's
what about you?
Too good of an answer. I can compete with that. I don't know.
I almost said my body because that's the sculpture I've been working on as long as possible, and it's still not there.
It's a good one. That's also a good one. I'll maybe
it's
say
not.
the last one because I think that the most recent thing you did is kind of the top of mind and also the best reflection of your skill set at that very moment.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's a wave, a full-on wave at the back. All right, hold on. I'll jog.
Right.
I feel like I'm going to fall out of this chair. Oh, no.
I've been fighting going in circles. Sorry, go ahead.
No, ladies. I'm just chat. I think what you're doing is fantastic for several reasons. First is the fact you're inspiring young people, okay? And the second thing is that you are ladies. And we need to have lots more ladies in engineering doing fantastic stuff. I mean, I've been in the game of doing engineering for the last 30 plus years. I'm an old fart. But it's absolutely brilliant talking to other female engineers because they have a totally different way of thinking and we need a broad spectrum of ideas in engineering. So please, carry on doing what you're doing and don't let any of the expletive stop you from doing anything.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Okay, I don't have to go far for you.
Hello. Oh, that was louder than expected. I believe you both rent your apartments or studio space. How do you persuade them to let you do all of what you do in there?
My landlord's asleep right now, so we're fine. They're not going to hear this. I don't. I just go for it and then fix the problem later. I think recently I've been showing videos of me not destroying my place, but fixing the things that I broke before I move out. So, yeah, it really is just ask for forgiveness, not permission, but not even forgiveness. Just make sure you clean up after yourself after you destroy something.
I think also we are less destructive to the living spaces that you don't see on camera. Like,
Yeah.
we're not the worst. And then usually landlords don't care that much about the garage.
Also, my landlord has seen my fur room. He had to come in and check on something, and he was concerned that he was going to get it dirty. I thought I was going to get yelled at. He was like, I'm sorry, hopefully it's fine that I'm in here. I just don't want to get anything a mess. I'm like, yes, it's fine. We're good.
Okay, question down here.
I'm curious, do you guys ever get trolls, and how do you handle that?
What was it?
Do we get trolls?
Trolls. Oh, indeed. I handle it poorly. Oh my goodness. 10 years of mean comments and I still feel bad. Like, my best defense is just not reading. So if you're getting mean comments and it's getting you down, don't get down on yourself for feeling bad, because it's human.
It's human.
And yeah, no amount of exposure to that is gonna make you any calloused.
I love them. I'm fueled by spite.
Oh yeah, you're rocking.
No, I think every so often someone will kind of hit the nail on the head a little too hard of like, that's exactly where your imposter syndrome stems from. But like, I think for the most part, I like to just look at those comments and be like, watch me. Like, you can say what you want and I can prove you wrong. Isn't that a TikTok audio? Something like that.
I mean, you've made TikToks directly responding to haters, which is so funny.
Yeah. I really like sharing some of the like particularly egregiously funny ones, because I think it's important to share particularly with like members of the population that don't face a lot of like misogyny or racism or comments, like degrading comments, that this is still happening a lot in 2024, to try to offset some of the comments we talked about earlier.
I got down. Okay.
It's just a game of watching you guys on the chairs.
No.
I think that's the...
Oh no.
I'm still jet lagged. Stop.
What is your favorite iteration of the car?
Oh, honestly, the AstroTurf. This is okay. I'm just gonna keep slowly rotating. The turf car was really cool because people would touch it. If I stopped at a red light, they'd come up and pet it, and that was so fun to, in person, call people's attention to it.
Just came from there.
What was your first video and why did you do it?
My first video is an animation, a 3D animation of myself walking. And I did it because I was in art school and I was learning 3D animation, so I was just showing my first walk animation. And I'm actually wearing the exact same shoes, pretty much this outfit. So you can go back and watch it. But yeah, it shows how you can evolve. I was going to be a 3D animator, and now I have no idea what.
Real life animator.
Yeah.
Just a video maker? I don't know.
Yourself,
your first video?
Oh, mine was a cedar strip corset, and I actually had no intention for it to be my first video. But I was like, I want to launch this YouTube channel, and I'll make a backlog of videos ahead of time so that I could, like, for the first 2 months, put something out every week. And then I posted it on Twitter when I finished making the corset because I was excited, and that tweet started to go viral, and I was like, oh, I better get this video out real quick.
Nice.
So most of us watch a lot of your videos and other videos content, and I procrastinate a lot of the making. How do you stay productive when there is no boss? You have to motivate yourself, and then also manage making the content, editing it, doing TikTok and your own community management and the business side. Run us through your day or a week, and how do you stay productive?
Oh.
So every day and every week is different.
Yeah.
I don't think that making a schedule is what would have helped me because it's always chaos. But the thing that keeps me motivated is that I've made it my identity that I make stuff and publish it, and I don't miss a published day every 2 weeks. And so it doesn't become a question of should I work now, it's just who I am. And when you make that change, then it becomes effortless and you just keep making.
Allie is superhuman, is what she's saying.
Stop it. I told you not to tell anyone.
I think I am I get kept on track. So sponsors have deadlines. So even though we're our own boss, we still work for sponsors essentially. And a lot of times if you miss your deadline, that's their budget for the month, and they won't be able to pay you if you miss it or something. So that's a good incentive to not miss those deadlines. And then I think community engagement and all the other parts of the job need to be something that you love to do. I love talking to people, sharing ideas, and like getting to know the people who watch my content, because I think a lot of times like I learn things from them and then I can use it later. So
I'm certainly inspired by all of this.
yeah.
Okay, I'm going to give it. I know you've got your hand up, but that little dude has too. So I'm going to let the little dude have it, and then you can have the one after. Is that okay?
Where do you get your ideas?
You first.
You first. Now, I have the unpopular, maybe popular, I don't know. I have the opinion that everyone has like millions of great ideas, and I think what I've done instead is train myself to let my brain keep thinking about them instead of immediately writing off my wacky ideas as silly or unnecessary. I'll just spend time in the shower and I'll keep thinking about it instead of like deciding that, like writing it off.
That's cool. I need to simmer more. I don't know. Every time I finish a project, I'm like, that's it. I'm out of ideas. Guess I'm done making things. I think a part of it is that I truly believe innovation is recombination. So I didn't invent the toilet and I didn't come up with flocking, but I did go, what if we made a velvet toilet? And so the more that you can expose yourself to cool things like toilets and velvet, the more that you can let your mind put weird stuff together and then make something completely new.
Ooh, can I add to that?
Yes.
Or are we moving on? Okay, I think I actually get all my ideas from meeting cool people. I love meeting people who are an expert at something I've never heard of or never done anything with, and asking them how they do it or what it is about their job or their interest that excites them. And a lot of times I'll just like store that information away as like, oh, this thing is really, really cool. Someday I want to learn to do that. And then later in life I'll like find a trigger, basically a trigger that reminds me of that thing. But I think surrounding yourself with interesting, inspiring, creative people is super helpful.
Hi, thank you. So my question is, at what point did it occur to you that this job is a sustainable job, with the YouTube? So in terms of, let's say, number of videos, number of subscribers, likes, views, all that, at what point can you say, okay, I can make a comfortable living out of this? Or in other words, if YouTube closes tomorrow, can you pivot back with the same skills onto something else, or what would that be?
Ooh, yeah, I want to know what you'd do if
YouTube
didn't exist.
Oh.
Yeah, I think 2030 is when I said that this is sustainable. No, it certainly feels like I could do this forever. It was for me when
Superhuman.
I launched on Patreon. So it really was that my community was like, hey, this is sustainable. They told me, and it was freaking fantastic. I did not expect that at all. I thought for sure I had just left my job at a startup, and I was like, well, I'm just going to spend all my money and fail and then go teach piano, which is probably what it would have been. And that didn't happen because all of my pallies were there, and it was incredible.
Aw.
I know.
That's so wholesome. I think that you're asking like so I stopped worrying about money like all the time, and I started being able to buy materials that I wanted for projects at about 100,000 subscribers. I think was sort of the general, like when I could start finding sponsors. And if I wasn't doing this, I would go back to Disney Imagineering. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, pair of questions. Sorry. Ali, since you did the Meghan Trainor bad guy song, it has basically been stuck in my head since that video came out.
Oh, that's great.
I love it. Do you have any song combos, or what if like this artist in this genre that are just you've not figured out how to do yet, but they're rattling around in your head of, I want to do this?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Cyndi Lauper, and I feel like I'm the only one on YouTube that could say that. Like, everyone's either younger or older, and like there's no one that will click on that video, so I haven't made anything about her music, but maybe someday I'll figure out how to do it.
Oh, cool. And for Xyla, you've talked a lot about getting more women into tech, and my experience in that is I'm a software engineer. I've worked with some fantastic female engineers, but there are very few. There we go. There are very few in my field just because the education. I got my education 10 years ago. At the time, there weren't as many women in, so there's a backfill happening there. Do you have any projects or groups that you're working with that you'd like to give a shout out to for that are doing that kind of thing, either in home or around the world?
Yeah, I do a lot with like United States-based nonprofits, but the biggest one the one I work with the most is called Reinvented Magazine. It's a women in STEM media nonprofit, and I actually used to, before doing my YouTube channel, I used to do videos for a women in STEM nonprofit with kind of the general idea that if a woman is teaching like people how to use tools, they were all like engineering and making instructional videos. And it was all rolled into a 501c3 nonprofit that was like trying to get more women involved in engineering and the trades. And when I left to do my own thing, it was acquired by Reinvented Magazine. And so this program that like has my heart is called Princesses with Power Tools. I founded it in 2017. We went to South by Southwest and taught like 1,000 kids how to use power tools for the first time, dressed as princesses. And to date, they've taught almost 20,000 students how to use power tools for the first time. So that's a program that I love. They don't do any events on this side of the pond, but they do an annual calendar that features like really cool women in like awesome jobs. So there will be like flight mechanics, chemical engineers, like marine biologists, and we usually try to pair it with the princess. So like Ariel will be a marine biologist. One of the years I did it, Elsa was a National Geographic Arctic Circle explorer, stuff like that. You can buy the calendar internationally. Yeah.
Amazing. Who's next? Oh, flower.
Hi. How much do you guys enjoy the sort of video, YouTube-y, editing, filming, sponsorship-y aspect? And have you been able to, in building a team, give the parts you don't like to people that maybe enjoy it more?
Yeah, sure, I'll go. So I think I talked about this in one video, but it is a constant thing in our lives. I would love to hear what you have to say about it too. That I have 2 projects going at once all the time, and it is a documentary that I'm shooting showing you my struggle of making a thing, and then also making the thing. And sometimes I feel like, oh, if I could just focus on this project and that's the only thing I'm doing, I could, maybe get it done better or faster, but it would be way less fulfilling because when I was done, I wouldn't have brought a bunch of people on the journey with me. And so it is just, constantly managing 2 different things. I feel like I am now a documentarian as well as a sculptor.
Yeah, I think, so the part that I like the least is dealing with sponsors, which I think is true for most creators.
Sponsors are great.
We love sponsors. We love our sponsors.
Bullet
Thank you so much to our sponsors. Bodle Toad's great though. They party hard.
Yeah.
But so I do have a manager that manages like all of my deal, like any sponsorship deal, or they'll sign or like check all the speaking engagement type stuff. Whereas everything else, and then I have actually slowly offloaded editing in the last year. So I hired my first employee, like full-time employee, a year and a half ago, and like very slowly over 6 to 8 months, I kind of like got her into my editing process, and so we started with her just editing the ad spots in the just the sponsored segment in the video, and then she would start and then she started editing just the ad spot and the final montage of like the end, like the beauty shots of the project, and then she started doing the rough cut. So I film every single part of a project, which it's very split amongst us. Like you also film. No, you make.
I've been back and forth. Sometimes I'll have people help film, and a lot of times it'll just be me screaming alone with a tripod.
But so like a lot of things need to go into really compressed time lapses. It'll be like 40 hours of like hand planing the hull of a boat that needs to turn into 10 seconds of a video. So she'll like compress things down, and then I would take the rough cut and build the story and the voiceover. And now she's so in my head that process has gotten a lot faster. But like I think very slowly offloading stuff is a difficult thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah, managing people is definitely an artistic process that I suck at. But it's like a whole different thing to get better at.
Yeah.
Okay, who's next? All right, I'm going to go all the way.
I do think, though, to do this a lot, you have to like making videos. Like, you do have to love the editing process and storytelling process, because even if you offload it, that core of it still has to come from you. Sorry, not to, go ahead.
What was your most expensive project, and how much did it cost?
That was expensive.
What's yours?
I think the one that I just did. I made a keyboard of a bunch of massagers, and they sent me the massagers, but they did not send me the 25 motor controllers and 4 different, energy sources that we were using to make it happen. Lots of soldering, lots of wire. So yeah, that all really added up. And then I hid all of that expensive stuff in a very cheap plywood box.
How much did it cost?
I think it ended up being around $1,000, maybe even more. Yeah.
Oh, that's not that bad. Respectfully, I'm actually kind of
Flock
jealous.
is really cheap, so.
Flock is cheap. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's a little hard to say because a lot of my materials are sponsored, like Ali as well.
Right.
I think my most expensive project. I'm terrible at QuickBooks. My accountant secretly hates me, so I can't answer this definitively. But I think it was my teardrop trailer, partially because it's a huge build, and also because I did it on such a compressed timeline that I wasn't able to order the cheapest available part. A lot of it was what's local or what can I pay for one day shipping on or something, because I only had 3 weeks to build it, and I think it came out to about $6,000 or $7,000. And then Spite, the rocket engines that I've been flying lately, the motor case is $600 and the motor is another $600. So it's a pretty expensive 2-second burn.
Yeah, I think the thing I spend the most on is Amazon Prime to get it tomorrow because I needed it yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, we got any more questions? I'm going to you. You've had your hand up for ages, and I definitely just walked past you.
For Ali, what is the next thing you are planning on turning into a chia pet?
Oh, we're getting some inside info here. I think I want to do my piano. So I turned my piano completely velvet, the keys, everything. It's even moved a new location. It's been outdoors for over half a year, and it still plays. And it's really cool, and it feels and looks crazy. But I think I want to ruin it by making it alive. And I'm confident that when I start watering it, it'll swell and I won't be able to play it anymore. But I don't know. What do you all think? Is it worth making the piano non-functioning so we can see it growing? All right. I think that's the next one.
Okay, I'm over this side. Has anybody got a question on? Oh, perfect. It's like a dream.
Hiya. How did you guys initially get over the hesitation / overcome the fear of putting yourself out there on the internet and all your work open for judgment?
That's a hard one.
I haven't. Look, I'm nervous right now.
We're up here quaking.
Yeah. I mean, everything I make, I'm like, you're exposing yourself to criticism, and you get it. You get it on every video. It's tough, and so you shouldn't feel bad if you have that same hesitation. I would say just go for it, because it might not even go away, but there are such great things that come of it when you do put yourself out there. So that's what makes it worth it.
How did you decide to post your first video, though? Your first Ali Spagnola YouTube video.
And I'm trying to think what it was. Well, yeah, I had written the song, I think is what it was, and I was like, well, I want people to hear it. Look what I did. What about you?
Great. I think I had a very weird journey into YouTube, which was I worked at a public makerspace at my university. And because it was funded largely by the state, it was open to the general public as well as the university. And like a huge emphasis was on the students, like the TAs, the students that worked there came from the engineering school and the Institute of Art next door. So it was like really trying to be a diverse, multidisciplinary place. And then we moved into a new building because we got a huge grant. It was 55,000 square feet. So we went from being like a tiny space in the basement of an engineering building to a 7-story maker space, like overnight. And the students who worked there were so bogged down, like it was just too much, that they changed the policy from us being able to help people one-on-one make their thing and learn to use the tool to, if someone came in and was like, I want to use, at that time, MakerBot Replicator 2s, I want to use a 3D printer, we would sit them down with a like 70-page text document on how to use it and then like leave them. And they were like, if you have questions, you can come ask us, but I can't sit down and actually teach you. And something I noticed was when we did that, like women or people that generally already felt uncomfortable in the space would just leave. Like there was just too many barriers to entry. So I started making video tutorials for my school on how to use these machines because I thought that would be helpful. And then my school said, no, we don't want them. And the friend that I had made them with was like more on the videography side of stuff. And he was like, why don't we just post it to YouTube and see if anyone like wants to watch it anyway? And so we did that, and students started using it, but then other schools started reaching out to us being like, hey, is there any chance you have access to this machine? Because like we use your videos in our curriculum. And so that kind of just, like we didn't make the videos initially to be public, but when they got turned down by my school, we made them public instead. So it was kind of a weird, and then I started getting used to it after that.
Cool, great question. I think we've got time for one more question. So I'm going to go down to this dude here at the front to ask this one.
Ali, do you prefer making sculpture or music?
Oh. This is why I'm in trouble with the algorithm, because I love them both. And I think if I was stuck doing one, I wouldn't like it anymore. And it's great that I can switch back and forth. Of course, then YouTube is like, what are you? Who do we show this to? But I can't pick, and I probably should, because it would make more sense for my business, and then I can explain what I do easily.
Well, I know you guys have got to get karting pretty soon. But so before that, though, just to let these guys know, I know there's a lot more questions in there and we're running out of time. If they do want to find you throughout the rest of the day here, how could they find you? Where could they find you? Or are you just going to hang around and chill with them?
We'll be here. You can come up and say hey after, and then I'll be floating around, look for the mismatched shoes.
Yeah, same. We're happy to chat afterwards, and then we'll hang out here, and then we'll just be in the hall floating.
Amazing. Everybody give the biggest round of applause to Xyla and Ali!
Nice job.